This is Cybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Industrial Strength for game number 1 of a best of 7. Yes, it is the June 2022 Ladder Wars Finals. It is kind of wild that through all of the tumultuous life of Red Alert 3, somehow the one thing that has persisted has been Ladder Wars. But in the finals, we have as the red allies, this is DutchArmy. And on the south side as the yellow empire. Yeah, get your crying out now. This is Dimon. Some players don't like it when Dimon plays Empire instead of Soviets. I love watching Dimon play Soviets, but also his Empire is super fun to watch, and it's one of those things that makes me so glad that I don't have to play against his Empire, because it is often very harass-heavy and very chaotic and very difficult to play against. A couple of buildings going to be getting taken down by DutchArmy. Secures the oil derrick in the south. Dimon secures the oil derrick in the north. Infantry sort of facing off near the middle of the map. Burst drone going for the scout. Dogs going for the scout from the DutchArmy side of things. Kind of maybe blocking off this Mecha Bay position. I'm not sure why the delay on the Mecha Bay. He could have been... Yeah, he's chasing the dog around. Tried to get a good delay. Oh, double! That was a double or a triple delay on that Mecha Bay. Eventually... the Mecha Bay does deploy, though. So big thanks to Rage of Heat, who has been keeping the Ladder Wars going for... on his own, he's been keeping them going for years now. Probably 5 or 6 years. Double laser lock on the Civ structure. Rush forward. All right, no bonsai charge. So it's not going to be the Imperial Warriors trying to break the front line. Dimon is going to play this one out a little bit more cautiously. He's going to get one Javelin Soldier. The second one does manage to escape. Peacekeeper's able to engage a little bit at distance. No way Dimon lets this happen again, right? Okay, yeah, there we go. Peacekeepers come forward. They're going to be able to clean up some of these Imperial Warriors, closing in the flank, and this may be enough. Nicely handled here by DutchArmy. He gets the win on that infantry engagement, forces the bonsai charge. It's going to be a bit of confusion, but the Javelin Soldier does go down, not before the Civ structure gets broken. And I think ultimately this will probably be of little consequence, but the Peacekeepers will clean up the Imperial Warriors. Meanwhile, Tengu's going for the harass on the other side of the map, completely shuts down both of those Harvesters. Oil derrick is still under the control of DutchArmy. Nicely done there by Dimon to slow down this Vindicator and add extra precious seconds to every moment that goes by. Even going to be detonating that burst drone. Refinery is here. Apollo gets jumped on. Triple Tengu is here to try and fight this double Apollo. And the Apollos will chase away the Tengus for now. Peacekeeper's going to pressure the front a little bit here. Dimon should be able to handle this. We'd be very surprised if we saw this go completely against Dimon. There's the transform. All 5 Tengus on the front line. Power plant is going to take a surprising amount of damage, but he should be able to save it there. The Peacekeepers fall well controlled by Dimon. This is really good Allied and Empire play. As janky and clunky as Red Alert 3 is, it is still, a game where you can showcase great skill. And this is genuinely very smooth, very well-organized play from both players. Maybe a little bit greedy on the side of DutchArmy. He was a little bit underprepared for those Tengu attacks when they came in. But overall, very well played out strategically and tactically from both players. Nice follow-up with the Vindicator. Gets the kill on 2 of those Tengus. Cleans up nothing, actually. The oil derricks both go to Dimon. But a big thanks to Rage of Heat for keeping Ladder Wars going. This particular Ladder Wars, $40 goes to first place, and then there is a random $15 prize. I don't know who won the random draw, but whoever wins this best of 7 gets $40 courtesy of Rage of Heat. The guy has been putting, $20, $30, $40, $50 of his own money into Red Alert 3 tournaments basically every month for 7 years now, maybe 8 years, but just Not big money over month to month, but over time, the guy has just put a ton of his own money because he likes Red Alert 3, because he wants to encourage people to play. Rage of Heat, an absolute legend, an absolute hero of the Red Alert 3 competitive community. So big thanks to him, DutchArmy, and Dimon. A matchup that would look a bit comical and one-sided a year ago. Maybe 6 months ago, but definitely a year ago, DutchArmy would not be a match for Dimon. However, these days, DutchArmy is considerably upgraded in skill from where he was a year ago, and he actually is a straight-up match for Dimon, which is probably why we see Dimon choosing Empire instead of playing Soviets. Apollo's taking a bit of damage. One Apollo goes down, but trading out an Apollo for the kill on that oil derrick, not too shabby for our allied player. Triple refinery for DutchArmy. No third refinery just yet from Dimon. 4 and 5 could be quick follow-ups, but for now, Dimon is happy to play this, for a while off of 2 oil derricks, 2 refineries. War Factory is out. We saw the cryocopter, so the Tier 2 is here as well. No naval yard, just double airfield into the War Factory, but no one has gone for the garage yet. Wouldn't be surprised if DutchArmy went for it. A couple of Guardian tanks out on the field. Going to be taking some shots at that building. Dimon feeling a little bit worried for him. First Tsunami tank pops on out. I'm more worried about not necessarily this immediate attack. I don't think this attack will end the game. I feel like I'm more worried about... well, maybe I shouldn't be worried because it's Dimon. If it was a different Empire player, I would be worried about the game in 3 to 5 minutes. The state of the game there versus now. But Dimon has so well handled armies in so many situations. We'll see how he handles this one. Apollo's going to be taking a bit of damage here. Basically a non-engage. The Apollo goes down, so a free kill there for Dimon. Gets a bit of harassment on the other side of the map. One Tengu goes in for the kill. He's going to get the kill on the Prospector one way or the other. And that is a no restart on the Prospector immediately. So DutchArmy is going to lose that mining time for a little while. DutchArmy, the cracks are beginning to show. He's making some slip-ups that we genuinely wouldn't be expecting from him. And at this particular moment, the only wins that he's gotten for the last couple of minutes have been the kill of the oil derricks. Other than that, Dimon has just been doing a bit of damage here and there. He's been catching a couple of free units here and there. Strikers. Oh, if he could have gotten one of those strikers, that would have been amazing. One Vindicator goes down again for free. Dimon just has too many units. Well, at least he will get the Tsunami tank as a bit of a consolation. Going to be forcing the Empire army away from that corner, and it's going to be up to these strikers to clean up the aircraft while the Tsunamis deal with the ground army. And the Tsunamis and the Tengus should be able to deal with the ground army. Apollo's finally going to be able to engage here, and the IFVs on the ground going to clear out those Tengus as they transform. One Guardian, 2 IFVs, 2 Guardians get added on, and it's going to be a Tsunami tank shrunk down, which is the last to go. 2 additional Tsunami tanks show up, but a little too late, and Dimon is forced to disengage. That engagement went from good for Dimon to bad for Dimon relatively quickly, but Dimon has got this consistent harassment going on. Ooh, if he doesn't get that Prospector, that's a bit of loss. Unless he escapes with the Tengu. I feel like the Tengu is going down either way. But no, the Tengu is actually just hanging out there next to that Guardian tank because they're both more concerned about the southern side of the map. This Cryocopter getting the value and the Shrink doing so much to negate these units. And this is where Dimon normally excels and other Empire players fall down. But in this particular case, Dimon has fallen prey to the Cryocopter Shrink, like most other Empire players. Tsunami tank going to be coming on out. A couple of Guardian tanks are here. The Tsunami tank gets the free repair, and that's going to be the GG, I think, from Dimon, as that game just ends. 9 minutes 30. DutchArmy taking game number 1 with some pretty amazing play that was not airfield focused on industrial strength. If it's Cryo Rush with wall off and all of that kind of stuff, you kind of give it to him on industrial strength. But that was not a turret-heavy style. That was almost a ground army-focused style from DutchArmy. A very solid mid-game allied style that I love to see. That'll do it for game number 1. Let's jump into game number 2, which takes us to Battle Base Beta for game number 2. As the Red Allies feeling confident and leading the series 1-0, this is DutchArmy. Meanwhile, in the south, as the Yellow Empire, he's here to claim his rightful place. This is Dimon. By default, everyone looks to Dimon. He has been the #1 player in Red Alert 2 for out of the last years, for the last 4 years, pretty confidently. Maybe 5 years ago, 2017, someone else was there, but I'm pretty sure since 2018 at least, Dimon has been the top player, the guy to beat, the one that everyone looks to. Javelin Soldier might get crushed here. Nope. Dojo Core does turn around. So it is DutchArmy, which opens up the series with a 1-0 point advantage. A bit of a surprise here. And Dimon, well, he's going to get the kill on that dog, but he is going to have to pull his Dojo Core back up to the high ground. By the way, big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as Ozmedia, Mediastorm, Deadly Shadow, Anoxic, Freddie, Spud, and Josh C., some of the all-time, long-time supporters, as well as Mech, Dominick V, Jason B, MRL 515, Sir Jack, JPeak 128, and William H. Dojo Core goes down. Mecha Bay is getting established, but no third refinery just yet. So going to be going for that Mecha Bay, and it looks like it's going to be the third out on the water, possibly a naval yard as well for DutchArmy. Big thanks to the folks who support the channel. Always appreciated, never obligated. There's the refinery from Dimon. So, bit of a delay on any kind of army that he might be thinking of, and we're seeing the repeat, the same sort of trap that DutchArmy is attempting to spring on Dimon. He's hoping he can kind of bring out those Imperial Warriors into that Peacekeeper range so that the Peacekeepers can win the ground fight and the Javelin Soldier can dislodge the building. I feel like this is much more common these days. One player will just decide, I don't want to deal with any of the civilian structures, and they will make it their journey, their goal, to kill the civ structures right at the beginning of the game. In this particular case, DutchArmy is happy to take that one building and then kill the other one. Wow, okay, naval yard way on the low ground. So this is a super delay on any kind of units, which is why we see the tier 2 coming out pretty much right away from Dimon. He's not going to be messing around with any Tengus. He is going straight into strikers. I mean, I'm sure eventually he will get Tengus. But a second airfield out on the water, this double airfield style that DutchArmy is playing, this is something that I am not as familiar with. Now, the question is, does he follow it up with a naval yard or does he follow it up with a war factory? He's gone tier 2. Cryocopter, it looks like, is about 50% done. First Apollo is out, scouts the strikers. Apollo not going to get the kill on the strikers. Nice try, but not going to be able to get the confirmed kill on that striker. So Dimon keeps everything alive, and it's 3 strikers. I'm really surprised that he went 3 strikers with no Tengu at all. Javelin Soldier going to go down. Nicely executed by that Imperial Warrior. And the last building on the low ground gets taken by DutchArmy. I mean, I guess there are these ones over here. Excuse me, gets taken by Dimon. A surprising amount of strikers and no Tengus at all. Normally, you get maybe 2 strikers or something, and then you get some Tengus into the mix, but this is like 3 or 4 strikers, no Tengus at all. I don't think this naval yard has been scouted just yet, but yeah, it has, because the Yurii mini-sub is on the other side of the map, harassing that Harvester. Triple Apollo is here. Double Cryocopter is going to be able to get the freeze on that Harvester, and it's going to be trading Harvesters, one out on the water, and the Tengu going for the harass of this Cryocopter. Going to find some good damage against the Cryocopter. Might get a confirmed kill. No, the Apollos get the kill faster, and it's going to be the harassment on the other side of the map where Dimon tries to make up for the damage that he is taking back at home. One harvester down out on the water, another harvester on land. It looks like he's going to be going down for Dimon. Slowly, he will get that kill, and it looks like DutchArmy has cleaned up every single harvester that Dimon has. It's hit for hit. It's 1 for 1 on the harvester front. But no, the third harvester remains untouched, so DutchArmy gets the win on the harvester count. He scouts out exactly where the naval yard is. He might even get the freeze and the kill. We'll see if Dimon is able to strike him down. But that Yurii mini-sub has sort of already done what it needed to get done, and this is now a Tier 2 naval yard out for the allied player, but does he actually have the time to stop the Yurii mini-sub? Because, oh, no, he's just going to force the sell-off of that airfield. Assault Destroyer? Okay, yeah, Assault Destroyer is now here, so the Yurii mini-sub can't really escape. I guess it could run all the way home and just try and outpace the Assault Destroyer. Third harvester, that is going to be the third kill, the 1 for 1. They both killed 3 harvesters of the other guy. And it's going to be Tier 2, but honestly, if DutchArmy ends up going Tier 3 in fast aircraft carriers, I wouldn't really be surprised. That, I think, would be something that Dimon would not be anticipating. There's another transform, another harassment, and this harvester is getting low enough that he might actually be able to get the kill when he exits this game. So is he attacking the refinery? I feel like that harvester should be lower health by now, but this harvester somehow is still alive. All right, one Tengu goes down. Both of them survive. I love grabbing the oil derrick from your opponent. This might have been an MCV cell? Yeah, it looks like from Dimon, an MCV cell. He gets the oil derrick, and he gets the observation post as well. He's got his mecha bay, so never fear. He can mount some kind of a rebuild on the MCV if he needs to take a 4th refinery, but double oil derrick plus 3 refineries. He's actually going to be sitting pretty comfortable. Dimon is a player who can be very efficient with Tengu Chopper, Tengu Striker, and, you know, he makes an Empire army look like an allied army as it's good. The Tengus are going to find those Apollos. The big disadvantage that Dimon has is no point defense drones. None of those commander points to the top secret protocols to utilize with no MCV. Strikers are going to find the damage. The hydrofoil is here. 2 hydrofoils able to clean up 1 striker. Second striker goes down just as it exits. And, well, the oil derrick is still claimed. DutchArmy has done nothing about this. This game, it felt like it almost got away from Dimon. He was almost staring down the barrel of a 2-0 lead for DutchArmy, but Dimon has really taken back this game with some relentless and well-engineered attacks. It feels like his harassment was so consistent, DutchArmy was stretched to the actual limits, and because of that, DutchArmy was unable to defend, and now DutchArmy is literally being torn apart. He's about to have no land base at all. He's going to be an entirely water-based boy. He's going to be living on Waterworld and have nothing much to show for himself. Double airfield, single refinery. If he was single refinery, double oil derrick, or something like that, maybe you could see a path back in this game, but Dimon has so totally destroyed DutchArmy that a comeback would be very, very unlikely. Honestly, if Dimon rebuilt his MCV right now, I wouldn't even be that surprised. I don't think he needs to. He's almost at the stage where he can start, like, suiciding units to get guaranteed kills. Like, he committed all of his Tengus and he cleaned up all of the Apollos and all of the Cryocopters. I would not consider that a loss at all. Maybe he is going for an MCV rebuild. Harvester doesn't go down, but it does get brought off the line. Hydrofoils are here. That is one thing I need to not forget, is the fact that the hydrofoils are here, and they absolutely will destroy those Tengus if they get in range. MCV, there we go. There's the rebuild. Dimon went for the big transform on the Tengus. He's going to be able to chase away that hydrofoil, but he gets no kills. That works out great for DutchArmy. I think he scouted the MCV rebuild, so he confirms that the MCV was sold and rebuilt, and then he gets the scout pretty much on the rest of the base. The cryo shot doesn't get him any value, and Dimon has free reign of the land. This is where Dimon could potentially take 2 expansions very quickly. Dutch Army manages to find a Harvester kill. His Hydrofoil almost gets left behind, but he remembers it. And no aircraft carriers makes this a difficult game for Dutch Army to keep control of. Or to gain control of, really. There's the point defense drones. That's something that's been missing from the Empire arsenal. Dimon has this game all sewn up, but at the same time, he doesn't have this game truly all sewn up. Dutch Army is keeping hopes alive. I love this consistent Harvester harass, just rotating from base to base. With the Hydrofoil, he's got such a strong combination force. The Apollos, the Cryocopters, the Vindicators, and the Hydrofoil make it a really difficult force to take on. Tengu's tearing through the middle of the map. Dimon, what is the plan here? His MCV has deployed. I would love if he took this refinery, like the worst refinery strategically for him to take. And he's just like, yeah, this is where I'm going. I guess he could move into Dutch Army's old main base. That would also be pretty funny. Just as a, I'm about to end this man's whole career kind of a move. Tengu's flying through. We are, of course, looking to Dutch Army, who already is the underdog in this series. But because he opened up with that 1-0 lead, it felt like he had a pretty decent shot to maybe make this series different than what we all expect. And now this game number 2. What in the world? Double naval yard? And a refinery? He's going to take the low ground refinery next to Dutch Army's base. Like the one where he can just put units right over there and attack the refinery. And he saves the oil derrick. Dimon not even letting Dutch Army get the kill on the oil derrick is pretty difficult. Man, one refinery is... where are you going? Where is this refinery going? What is even going on? Dimon is going to commit to the attack. It looks like he will be able to clean up pretty much every single Cryocopter. The Hydrofoils on the ground are going to do massive damage. Point defense drones expire in mere moments there. 2 of the Cryocopters do survive. 4 of the Apollos do survive. What? Someone explain this to me. What is he doing? Is this just full goofball mode? Dimon loses game number 1, and then he's like, I'm not even playing the game anymore. We're playing... build an ore refinery. Dutch Army sees this. He's like, screw you, man. What are you even doing? There's the real 4th refinery. This is some clown fiesta stuff. I mean, if Dimon gives away this game by playing foolishly, then I guess good on Dutch Army for getting the win there, but like... Tengu's going to engage. They're going to be able to find the Apollos with no Hydrofoils on the ground. It is going to be a difficult proposition to make. Hydrofoils not supporting this army was a big mistake by Dutch Army. He is going to pay heavily for it. This Cryocopter is going to get chased down. All of the Apollos already got shredded, and this is as Dimon is taking an additional refinery. The writing has been on the wall for a long time, but... it is really finishing out right now. Killing off both of the naval yards in a different match, that would be like, wow, he killed 2 Empire naval yards. That's really something. In this game, it just feels like, well, Dimon's been on 3 refineries versus 1 refinery for like 6 minutes now. So like, killing off 2 naval yards doesn't really offset a 2 refinery, 2 oil derrick advantage for 6 minutes. All right, bit of a joke game past, I don't know, the 8-minute mark is where that became a bit of a clown fiesta, but that will do it for match number 2. The score is 1-1. Dimon thoroughly defeating Dutch Army on Battle Base Beta, but let's see what happens in game number 3. I hope you've got your shovels ready to dig some icy graves because we are on Snowplow for game number 3. I believe this is loser's pick. Can you guess why Dutch Army might have chosen Snowplow? In the North Plain Red, it's Dutch Army. In the south, playing yellow. This is the Empire player, up 1-1 now. This is Dimon. He ties up the score. He stops himself from being humiliated. I don't know. If Dimon loses 4-0 to someone, I guess it's always a humiliation because he's Dimon. If he loses 4-0 to DutchArmy, I feel like, DutchArmy is good, but still, we expect that Dimon is going to win. Oil Derrick gets killed. That's kind of interesting. DutchArmy is like, you don't get that Oil Derrick. You're going to spend cash on that dojo, which, he sells it off, so 250, not really a big deal. Naval Yard? Is that at the back? It's at the back. 1 Riptide, 2 Riptides. Hey, look at that. All right, Javelins and a couple of Peacekeepers, and then Engineer, a couple of Peacekeepers and a Javelin. 1 and 1. 1-1-1. And there's the sell-off of the Naval Yard. Okay, it is the 2 Riptide opening. Grabs the building over there. Mecha Bay after the second refinery. And there is going to be a Defender VX core as well. Dimon is a little bit worried, a little bit cautious. Dimon has been able to grab the Oil Derrick on the right. So the only Oil Derrick that had not been killed off, he was able to grab. So he did get the cash back on that, which means if DutchArmy takes it, it's going to take him a little while to be able to reclaim the price of that Oil Derrick. Tengus finding their way around the map. Apollo gets the full scout. Always nice. You got those nice fast Apollos as an allied player. You should always do a little scout around the map with them. I feel like Waff the Wolf was one of those guys who was pretty good about just at random times running an Apollo almost everywhere on the map, and then he would see just about everything that there is to see, and he'd have a good read on the game, and every couple of minutes he would do one of those passes. And it's one of those things that you, as a player, may be thinking, okay, I know what this guy is doing, I know what he's not doing, and then you use that Apollo just to confirm your suspicions, because you're not some kind of a all-knowing God man. You make mistakes, and that Apollo just lets you confirm that. And he's like, okay, I think I know exactly what Dimon is doing. He flies his Apollo over, and he sees, hey, that is exactly right. I did know exactly what Dimon was doing. I'm not making any mistakes. Playing it nice and tight. It's an allied-favored map, so when you open up the Series 1-0, you don't want to then lose on your allied-favored map. All right, Tengu's going to drop down. 1 Tengu goes down before he can actually get on top of any units. 2 Javelin Troopers go down to the second Tengu, and the Javelins are going to safely jump in. So, bit of a dicey moment here, trying to kill off all of those Tengus and trying to do it with minimal losses. Loses 2 more Javelin soldiers. So in total, the count of 4 Javelin soldiers and 2 Peacekeepers for those 4 Tengus. 3 or 4 Tengus. So I think in the end, DutchArmy still wins out the day, but, well, not so sure now because he just lost 2 more Riptides to that Tengu. Splits the Tengus into the corner. Apollos give chase. They might get it. 3rd Apollo. No, that's a Vindicator in case he drops down. Yep. Vindicator will get the kill. There we go. Nicely done. Oil Derrick still taking that bit of damage. 3rd refinery coming up for Dimon. Overall, both players handling the start of the game pretty darn well. I think Dimon has just overall won the day a little bit, but DutchArmy is, of course, not at the end, and since he did get that Oil Derrick over time, that will be more and more valuable to him. All of the bridges have remained intact thus far. We'll see if that remains the case into the future, but at the current moment, all of the bridges still remain. There's the Tier 2 on the Mecha Bay. First Striker steps on out, and that Defender VX is still around for Dimon. I also love that Dimon has garrisoned up so many structures around the map. He has managed to get a nice foothold in basically every quadrant of the map. He has nice vision, nice map awareness. In his case, he really doesn't need much scouting to be happening from active units going around the map. He's got such a nice spread of units just waiting that he has got a pretty good idea of what's going on everywhere. Cryo shot comes in. Dimon was not looking, so the Harvester is going to go down. Free kill there for DutchArmy. Easy mode kill right there, but it's going to be into the War Factory, so it is not a double airfield play, it seems, but it is into a Tier 2, so we can expect a Cryocopter relatively soon, perhaps another Cryocopter IFV Guardian Tank combo like we saw there in game number 1. Ooh, Chopper VXs almost get caught. That was a nice move by DutchArmy. One of those things where he was active on the map, he was thinking about his game, and as a result, he almost is rewarded with a kill on a couple of strikers. Dimon is a little bit too quick. He's too map aware. If he was me, he wouldn't have noticed until probably the last of the strikers died. Ah, man, that guy just shot down all of my strikers. I could have hit the F key and avoided all of that, but no. I wasn't looking at the mini-map. And that is how things go. Apollo's swinging down to the south side. Again, DutchArmy very active with his Apollos, but never really overstaying his welcome. Always looking for the smart engage, never necessarily looking for the damage at all costs. He's not getting tunnel vision. He's just playing smart. I love this. Boot camp, War Factory, and Airfield all clumped together in terms of he at least has all of the production facilities. I guess clumping them together is not actually a great strategic move necessarily. Apollo goes down. Engineer, what in the world? What are you going for? Is he going to actually try something here? He's forcing the sell-off of the power plant, so this might already be worth it. And he is actually going to go for it. Sells off both power plants, and then he gets the engineer out of there. He could try and just go up to the high ground. He can eject out the engineer one more time. No, he doesn't go for the kill, but the Tengu is here, and the engineer dies. So nicely done by both players, but that was great from DutchArmy. Forces the sell-off of 2 power plants, and a total panic mode reaction from Dimon. DutchArmy is going to try and take opportunity of this. We'll see if this is good. I love the 2 Tengus moving in the north. Perfectly timed there by Dimon. He's going to be able to potentially get some free damage at the Harvesters in the main base of DutchArmy. Absolutely perfectly done there. The power plant does get killed off, so nicely handled by DutchArmy. But Dimon, with those 2 Tengus perfectly timed, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he pulled it off perfectly. Harvester goes for the crush. Harvester goes for the crush. And the Vindicator, it looks like, gets the other one. So DutchArmy in the end, manages to deal with it. That striker so low on health, but still it survives. And this is where DutchArmy has been really good about patrolling the map, about looking around, staying active with his units, and yet he hasn't cleared up some of those buildings. Vindicator goes down. Unfortunately for DutchArmy, that's the downside of being that close to your opponents with your airfield, is right when you try and land, they get those last couple of shots in there. I love the engineer attempts. If one of these works out, it is absolutely more than worth it. He's going to be going for the refinery. Oh my gosh, he's going to get it. Oh, he gets the Harvester as well. The engineer glitched out there for just a moment, but he gets the Harvester, gets the refinery as well. He's going to get 1 load of ore, so that engineer halfway pays for itself. And I guess you might as well sell it off. Yeah, there you go. So actually that engineer completely pays for itself. Harvester going to do a bit of damage, and he's even going to explode on that Mecha Tengu, going to be doing a bit of damage. Perfectly executed here. This is a no turret push style. Obviously, that's a personal preference. You like turret pushes, you don't like turret pushes. I know a lot of people don't like watching turret pushes, but I can never really fault a player for doing what they think is the best way to win a game. That's kind of the point of an RTS like this, is do what you think wins the game. But I love when we get to see an allied player on a map like Snowplow where the temptation is there. It's such a strong temptation, and yet we see... Oh, spy right there. And yet we see the attempts being the oddball stuff. He gets an engineer, a double engineer attempt around the sides. One of the bridges does end up going down, and then he's going to be expanding up to the high ground with a 4th refinery. This is just absolutely delightful to watch play from DutchArmy. He's making Red Alert 3 not a boring game to watch, which sometimes, when everyone sort of plays it out the same way and no one is willing to try anything differently, it can get a bit samey, as all things can. Cryoblast is going to be firing off. DutchArmy is not totally giving up all of his allied powers, so he is going to be holding on to the cryo shot. He is going to be utilizing that quite nicely. Dimon, you know, somewhat surprisingly, not going magnetic satellite and playing Soviet, so he doesn't view magnetic satellite as being that kind of an advantage. He does still want to play Empire versus allies, so yeah, at the very least, we've got that going for us, that Dimon wants to vary things up in that way. And it might just be a base trade. Dimon splits to the other side of the map. He says, I'm not going to fight your army. You're gonna build a whole ground army. You're going to take, like, really smart engagements. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to fight you there. And instead, he's just going to try and jump on the MCV. Tengus maybe go for the transform. All right, the multi-gunner turret does go down. They're going to try and get on top of that IFV, try and shut down the IFV from shutting down those strikers, but it's going to be 3 IFVs to push away these strikers, and the ground army returns back home. Meanwhile, on the south side, it's going to be a cryocopter and a Vindicator, a couple of Apollos there as well, and Dimon, it seems like, is falling apart to an allied player on the map, Snowplow, but not for the reasons that we normally expect an allied player to be winning here. Ground army is going to be pushing it away. Gets a couple of shots off there with those IFVs. No lucky kills on low health Tengus, but he is going to get the kill on one of those harvesters. Out to the water goes Dimon. A naval yard, a refinery, a 2nd refinery as well. What does he plan with that refinery? I don't know. Tengus do manage to find the kill on a couple of the Apollos. It looks like the cryocopter as well. No, the cryocopter splits off to the right, manages to escape. 4th refinery is up and running for DutchArmy. Dimon has one working refinery, and no one has an oil derrick. Both oil derricks have been eliminated. In the same way that the last game felt like Dimon playing smart, finding a bunch of advantages, and never really making a big mistake, this game feels very much the same from DutchArmy. He has not been playing a turret push style. He has just been playing very smart. He's found himself some advantages. He's played very well, and he is being rewarded by, well, I guess getting the kill on all of these Tengus, but also I think he's going to be able to get the kill on this game. Dimon tries to trade out as well as he can, gets the kill, utilizing that honorable discharge, and it's going to be the Cryogeddon on top of this refinery, forces the sell-off of the naval yard. This is going to have to be GG for Dimon. That refinery hasn't actually died yet. It is still frozen, but I don't think anything will get there soon enough to actually get the kill on the refinery. No, it thaws before the Vindicator gets over there. There is a striker here. Could go for the kill on the striker and then follow it up with a kill on the harvester. Barely that Vindicator is going to be getting the kill. Goes double vet down to, I don't know, maybe a quarter health, something like that. Harvester is going to get frozen down. That's just an Imperial Warrior. Nicely done. DutchArmy playing this game out so carefully, playing this game out so well, time and time again, and that's going to be the GG. Dimon folds on Snowplow to somewhat unorthodox allied play. DutchArmy taking it into a 2-1 map score for himself, so that will launch us into game number 4. And that takes us to Temple Prime. I love that there are these little dig sites on the island. These little, like, sectioned off areas with a ladder going down. Those kind of details are delightful. Kicking it off with a 2-1 map score here in game number 4. Can he take it to put himself into match point territory? This is DutchArmy. And on the other side of the map, we were expecting, you know, perhaps a 4-1 or a 4-0 from this guy, but it is not going to be. This is Dimon. So unusual that we see Dimon fighting from a place of a lower score. Sure, it happens, but I don't remember the last time it really happened, except versus DDF. Andre has beaten Dimon a couple of times. Happy has beaten Dimon a couple of times. But we all just think of Dimon as just being that so consistent player, that so good player, that we discount that anyone can, you know, consistently win against him. Okay, he's actually going to be garrisoning off that Civ structure. And I thought for a second he was going to put his airfield here because of the walls, but then he just garrisoned off the Civ structure there. There must be 1 or 2 Javelin soldiers inside of there. That'll give him, you know, kind of a bunker. He's doing it on both sides. Is this really worth it? I guess he gets a kill on the southern oil derrick. It's not really worth it. I feel like this, I don't know, maybe I've seen someone do something like this before, but I don't know that that's worth it. That's a lot of wall segments. And the Tengu is just going to transform and get on top of the Harvester anyways. Burst Drone does go down. Oil derrick does go down. 2 kills. Both of them against Dimon, but Dimon at least got the cash back. Got a little bit of cash from that oil derrick as well. Javelin Soldier goes down, so DutchArmy is going to be feeling bad about that, but he's got his MCV positioned over in the north side for a potential 3rd refinery. A couple of Imperial Warriors going to be going down, and they are not going to be breaking into that building. Not anytime soon. Peacekeepers moving into the middle of the map. They might try and retake that center pyramid. Dog in the north will scout the MCV, and this is going to be a northern edge of the map kind of a play. Wow, okay, we are right into 3 refineries on Temple Prime. Not how this one normally plays out. Temple Prime is one of those weirdo maps that sometimes people play ultra aggressive. They go all in with some perhaps ill-researched build, and they, you know, they're kind of half executing it. Sometimes you see players in a tournament or an event, they're firing sort of half-cocked with some all-in strategy. And it's like, ooh, maybe you should have practiced this one a couple of more times to get the kinks ironed out. And then they just kind of fall apart. But this is sort of the opposite. Both players going for relatively quick 3rd refineries. Dimon not going for... This is a fake out, because he hasn't killed off the dog. Unless he goes for the high ground, but then, like, why move your MCV? But no, I think he might just be going for the kill. He hasn't sold his MCV. He is going to be going for a naval yard, but it's still going to be a while before he can actually take that 3rd refinery in the north. Cryocopter is here. Apollo is here as well. There's going to be maybe the first kill. No, the Strikers are going to be pushing away that Apollo. Needs a second Apollo nearby. Cryocopter is not going to be able to get the repairs at that airfield, but there is a second airfield out on the water. 1 Vindicator is here. Peacekeeper is going to be moving in. No Stompy boys. Those Stompy choppers are not going to be able to kill off those Peacekeepers, but they do get the kill on that Cryocopter. That might be an unforgivable loss there for DutchArmy. Peacekeepers, 2 of them going to be going down. Tsunami Tank going for the kill on the 3rd, and the 4th and the 5th gets them all. That is going to be every single Peacekeeper going down. Vindicator finally gets the kill, but this is not enough damage just yet from Dimon. The fact that he still has this 1 Tsunami Tank keeps his hopes alive, kills off the Apollo, gets the kill on the airfield, forces the sell-off rather, and he's going to keep up the pressure. He is still just streaming units across the map. A couple of Tengus here and there. 3 Tengus have now crossed the map for Dimon. And, well, he's still got that Tsunami Tank on the ground. Cryocopter has been rebuilt. 1 Tengu goes down. 2nd Tengu gets eliminated. Apollo's going to be the next target. 1 will not go down. It was low on health, but it does survive. The harassment keeps up, and Dimon hasn't won the day just yet, but things are sliding into his favor here on game number 4. He wants to even up the score, and indeed he is looking to. Yurii minis up, kills the dog, crosses the map, and is going to start harassing, putting pressure both on land and water. At the same time, Dimon has largely retreated from the land. DutchArmy may have just enough breathing room to get his feet back under him and give himself a chance here in game number 4. Dimon hasn't taken that 3rd refinery just yet. That MCV move was extremely telegraphed, but I'm guessing Dimon did that, you know, either hoping that DutchArmy would scout him or knowing that the dog was up there waiting. And so Dimon was able to fake DutchArmy out, perhaps. I think DutchArmy may have rebuilt these airfields a couple of times. No, that is the second airfield, okay. Fortunately, DutchArmy hasn't had to sell off 2 airfields and rebuild 2. MCV packs up. He doesn't even take the water expansion. The Apollos are actually going to see this. Okay, so DutchArmy confirms it. He gets the scout, and he's like, you sly dog. You going for those kind of a build. You're going for that kind of a sneakiness. Not even a build. This is not a build, really. The fake third refinery into Naval Yard 1 Yurii and then sell off the Naval Yard? I don't think that's a build. Strikers are they gonna get it, though? Assault Destroyer is showing up. Javelin Soldier exits the building. This is where those walls, how much did they really get DutchArmy in this case? Craftcopter gets the shrink, nicely done, gets the crush, gets the kill on the harvester, and DutchArmy thought he was going to save that harvester, so he didn't restart it soon enough, so he is going to lose some additional mining time there. Naval Yard out on the water, and this is turning into a very awkward EVA. Third refinery on the high ground for Dimon. DutchArmy dislodges that Imperial Warrior. And this is a little bit more typical for what I expected Dimon to be doing. Third refinery on the high ground, pressure directly over top of the map. Just, you know, use that mecha bay and just send units constantly to the other side of the map directly over the top. Refinery down to half health, but the harvester kill is not guaranteed since the cryocopter gets the shrink. Good number of chopper VXs are here. The 3 javelin soldiers makes this a bit difficult. Ah, nicely done there. It was a good attempt by Dimon. DutchArmy drives right into it. Okay, he cancels the black hole armor. You can see that the counterplays working together. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Love the attempt of the engineer. It worked in the last game. No, he scouted that there's no water expansion, so he's not going for the cap of the water expansion. He does get the shrink down, which means he could try and swing around. It's going to be difficult. He's going to have to go into the belly of the beast. Dog gets sniped. No free scout for you, says Dimon. Strikers in the middle of the map. No black hole armor. Okay, just now activates. It moves up to the high ground, and, well, this Riptide double confirms. Hey, there's no expansion here. The Apollos already saw that there was no expansion, but that Riptide just extra confirms it. Up to the high ground, it's going to be a pretty thin army for DutchArmy, but it's an army that can be well utilized. Engineer is going to make an attempt on the other side of the map. He's going to try and dislodge that middle of the building. It's going to force the sell-off of a power plant again, but no win here for DutchArmy. Just the sell-off of 1 power plant, which is a sustainable loss for Dimon. Dimon has been in control of this game for a little while, but DutchArmy is very close to being able to stabilize and do some damage. Well, I guess he's already stabilized, but he's getting to a point where he can actually potentially do some damage. Tangos are heading south, either for harassment or to try and cut off that Riptide that they didn't realize has already come back in. There we go, kills off the harvester. Easy mode kill there. Tengus are going to find the Riptide. Engaging on the water is good for the Riptide, but DutchArmy doesn't give the attack command. So goodbye, Riptide. Nicely done there by Dimon. All right, cryocopters get close. Assault Destroyer gets a free kill there. The Spy gets sniped. Well done by Dimon. This is the second time that he has realized that it's a Spy on the front line and not let DutchArmy get a free kill there. Strikers are getting absorbed by that black hole armor, but now 1 cryocopter extremely low on health. The Strikers forced to pull back, and DutchArmy slowly but... Whoa, that is a... He really wants to get that guy back for some repairs. And this is where DutchArmy, he has been slowly but surely building up this game. Slowly, like staunchly, refusing to die. but he's also just like a thin veil away from defeat, it feels like, at all times. Dimon has been doing the little bit more straightforward thing, and DutchArmy is a little bit walking on stilts. He may look tall and impressive, but for most of this game, it's felt like he is one push away from toppling over spectacularly. Tengus, strikers, only 3 tsunami tanks. I guess in this situation, it really is player dependent. I guess I would feel a little bit more confident if it was Happy in control of those allied forces. DutchArmy can definitely do it, but if it was a player other than Dimon, then I would have way more confidence in DutchArmy to make something happen here in game number 4. If he can just secure this awkward win on Temple Prime, he will put himself into match point position against Dimon, which I think will be the first time he has ever defeated Dimon in a tournament match. 1 tsunami tank, that's a donation. 2nd tsunami tank. Tengus are here. They're going to be going for the kill. 1 cryo. No, he doesn't even get a single cryocopter. A bit of a problem there. Assault Destroyer, it seems, does go down. Going for the harass. Harvester did get pulled off the line. Harvester did not die, though. Imperial Warrior gets the kill on 1 Peacekeeper, and it looks like that's it. DutchArmy clears out the building in the middle of the map. Not interested in fighting for that high ground advantage. Oh, Vindicator, a free kill there. A lot of Tengus. They're flying directly over way too many Javelin soldiers. And somewhat finding an opening in the base. It's going to be 3 Apollos. They're going to have to return to base, but the Strikers are here. They're going to be able to find the War Factory, and that's going to be a free kill on the War Factory. The Tengus return to the Strikers to keep them safe. No hydrofoils in the water to defend this. It's just about the Apollos. It's just about the IFVs and the Javelin soldiers, and DutchArmy decides to commit to the other side of the attack. Normally, you would never want to engage an Empire player in a base trade, but in this particular case, there may not be a whole lot of choice left for DutchArmy. He's going to be moving over. The Naval Yard, it looks like, is still way up here in the north, but it's the only production facility left. The MCV gets shrunk down. It's going to be able to escape. Barely it will escape. The Assault Destroyers, the Peacekeepers, and the Javelin Soldiers of the Tengus swing back through, get the kill on the Cryocopter. DutchArmy and Dimon both in panic mode, but it's going to be a couple of Tsunami tanks in the north getting the kill on that Harvester, getting the kill on the power plant as well. That is the last production facility of DutchArmy. His MCV has ejected somewhere onto the map, evacuated to the high ground in the middle. He's gone from the sea to the land. Once again, he has lost every single Harvester, and Dimon just crushes it. An awkward game on Temple Prime, back and forth, unusual builds and strats from both sides, but at the end of the day, Dimon gets 90% of the damage done in the last couple of minutes. He may even get a free kill on this refinery. DutchArmy forced to sell off that northern refinery, forced to sell off the other main base refinery, and that is, I guess it's technically not game over, but it's game over. Dimon ties up the score 2-2. From this point, it would be an amazing throw from Dimon if he loses this game. DutchArmy, I thought he was going to be able to mount the comeback. He kept the comeback hope alive for a long time. He had that Cryocopter Assault Destroyer Infantry army, and it's like, that's one of those armies that can be very difficult to engage, and DutchArmy just bided his time, eventually found the biggest weakness, and DutchArmy was not able to kill enough stuff. And at the end of the day, you got one guy with 1 refinery and not a lot versus one guy with 2 refineries and a whole lot more. DutchArmy is going to be playing defensively on the high ground. He's got a couple of hydrofoils splitting out around the map. Final squadron is going to be getting called in. Hydrofoils will block off that refinery location. Assault Destroyer is here. He's going to be able to get the crush on at least one of those tsunamis. The second tsunami goes down. Power plant does take some damage, but not eliminated. And Dimon does not want to just suicide his forces. He's willing to play this one out a little bit longer, a little bit more strategic, so that he doesn't just have to suicide his forces to try and get the guaranteed kill. Dutch Army still has a high damage output army. It's just not a very tough army in terms of health bars. If the guns of Dimon can connect with the units of Dutch Army, it will be over very quickly. Dutch Army has rebuilt the airfield, I guess. Okay. Like I always say, hope is alive, but hope is dwindling. Not necessarily more by the minute, because it dwindled like 2 minutes ago, and it's been remained dwindled for the last couple of minutes. It's been at an all-time dwindled state. A couple of tank busters on the high ground. Going to be a bit annoying. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Third and fourth refinery out on the water. Hydrofoils eventually got scared away. Happy to play this one out a little bit longer. Dimon giving a lot of respect to Dutch Army. If he thought Dutch Army was a worse player, then he would have tried to force some more of these engagements. But he's clearly worried about Dutch Army's ability to control an army and the ability for Dutch Army to pull a win out of a situation where Dimon should have a win. If there were 3 cryocopters, I don't know, and 3 IFVs? Plus all of the stuff that Dutch Army already has, like maybe, but... Yeah, maybe 3 cryocopters, 3 Apollos, and 3 IFVs is what he needs to like actually have a chance in this game. Plus the 2 assault destroyers he's already got, and the javelins and the guardians. All right, he's moving out. This is exactly what Dimon wants. 4 refineries versus 1. This is where Dimon can afford to sit back and wait for as long as Dutch Army wants. Dimon has control of the entire map. MCV is looking to just run away. Apollo is going to take way too much damage there. Tengus get the kill on the Vindicator as it tries to exit. The army has pulled away, and they might just go for the Transform and go for the kill. There's the big Transform. They're going to be going for the MCV. Black Hole Armor will absorb some of that. It looks like it's a little bit of a glitch there with how those shots were bending. But the Harvester is going to get harassed at the same time, and Dutch Army is going to be putting a bit of pressure on Dimon at the front time. Oh, it's going to be the massive cryo landing on top of all of those units, and maybe even getting the MCV as well. No, the MCV runs away, but every single Tsunami Tech, a power plant as well, going down, and Dutch Army's army crushes through the front door of Dimon. Dutch Army keeps hope alive against all odds. He can't do it, but can he do it? Oh my gosh, if Dutch Army was able to take this, that would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be off of that back of that amazing Cryogeddon that he just blasted off. But it would be still a phenomenal kill. Dimon can lose both of these refineries on land and still have 2 refineries to the 1 refinery of Dutch Army. Dimon is starting to pull Dutch Army apart. I love the inclusion of the barracks here, but there's the transform of all of the Tengus. He's going to be able to target down the barracks, target down the airfield after that, and it looks like Dimon is going to crush everything on the land, but Dutch Army is going to be doing the same. No, the airfield actually survives. The Tengus having to cut and run. They are trying to get away from that assault destroyer, and that assault destroyer has been the one thing keeping Dutch Army's base from getting trounced by these Tengus. There's the transform, waits till the last second, and is going to try and sneak in here with the Tank Buster and the Imperial Warriors. There's the sell-off, and it's pretty much that's it. What you see is what you get. There is no refinery, there is no airfield, no production facilities of any kind. Dimon is trying to build a naval yard. He adds a power plant as well. He's in maybe a bit of dire straits himself, but the difference is one of these guys has a, 10,000 credit army, and the other guy has like a 3,000 credit army. The Assault Destroyer is going to get surrounded. No crush on these Tengus. Might get the kill on the refinery anyways, but nope. Tengus are going to get the kill. well. Oh, he does. Are you kidding me? He gets the kill on that refinery. DutchArmy has made this way closer than it had any right to be. I cannot believe how close DutchArmy has brought this. Dimon is still going to win it, but, like, DutchArmy has a shot. I don't know, maybe if he had more of his Air Force, because the only thing he has that can go out onto the water, he's going to try and turret push him. The only thing that DutchArmy has that can go out onto the water is, of course, the Assault Destroyers. Which, while they're good, you know, they're not, like, kill everything in the world good. Tier 3 is a potential. That's another thing that Dimon was doing, is he was investing in infrastructure. DutchArmy, he's not going to be able to stop this refinery in the south. So Dimon is going to have that. DutchArmy hasn't had any income for a while. He's about to be losing his power plant on the other side of the map. And Dimon is going to be taking a third refinery as well. Cryogeddon on top of the Tier 3 naval yard, and it's going to be the multi-gunner turret. Gets the kill, gets the power plant, and even maybe targets down the second Navy core. Yes, he gets it! DutchArmy! What in the world? He spends like maybe his last dollars in this game to get that multi-gunner turret. Oh my gosh, DutchArmy. Somehow making this incredibly close. It is still going to be a 3-refinery Empire player who seemingly just cannot end the game. Going for a Decimator core. Double docks, power plants as well. I do like the attempt on the Carnyard, the laser marker. Ooh, Yurii Minisub gets the kill on the Assault Destroyer there. Literally, the 4 corners of the map are taken by Dimon. GG gets called. There we go. Dimon evens up the score 2-2. It was expected. DutchArmy, wow, almost making the comeback. Dimon playing very cautiously through the middle part of that game. Very respectful of DutchArmy's army. That'll do it for game number 4. Let's see how game number 5 turns out. Who takes the lead in this series? Which takes us to Infinity Isle. No complaints here. It took us to game 5 to get to Infinity Isle. This is going to be the tiebreaker. This is going to be the one that decides who has the momentum heading into the last part of this series. So on the left side, as the Yellow Empire, this is Dimon. He ties up the score once again, 2-2. Going airfield first, as the red, this is DutchArmy. A powerful and seemingly now consistent player who's been playing phenomenally well. Vindicator does get tagged by the burst drone. Engineer gonna get delayed. Burst drone gets killed. Nicely done by Dimon. Engineer is not gonna go snipe. He's not gonna... Okay! I thought he was gonna hover over top of this barracks and, you know, just delay the capture of that oil derrick. DutchArmy is doing something else. What is he doing exactly? He's doing a bit of damage to a refinery and a harvester. That's what he's doing. I don't know if that's the right opening against Dimon on Infinity Isle, but this is what DutchArmy has chosen to do. Mecha Bay on the high ground. No real worries from Dimon. Okay, DutchArmy is really going in on this one harvester. I thought Allied players just sort of decided that this wasn't worth it, but maybe DutchArmy thinks differently. DutchArmy says, no, actually it is worth it. You get the Vindicators, you make those bombing runs, and yeah, you kill off the Harvester. I mean, it looks like he's going to get the Harvester, but I guess Dimon could have... Huh, that's interesting. Dimon could have had that Harvester restarted basically immediately. He could have started the rebuild a bit sooner, but he didn't. Dimon goes 4 refineries. Whoa, this guy going big eco right from the beginning. Is he going to try and do a wall swag build or some variant of the wall swag build? And no, he just gives up the ocean-based refinery. That's why he transfers the harvester, so he doesn't need to rebuild. He just sells off a refinery that he already built. And it's not going to be wall swag, but it's just going to be into tsunami tanks right from the beginning. Imperial Warriors are keeping an eye on the other side of the map. 1 Dolphin, it seems like, out of the Naval Yard. Going to be patrolling the water, making sure that Dimon isn't doing anything. Vindicators will be able to get the kill on this Tsunami tank. It was a Tsunami tank first, so there's no Tengus out, so there's no real threat. Look at that. He drops just the 1 bomb to activate the nano deflectors, and then they're like, bye-bye, Tsunami tank. Because, I mean, if you don't activate the nano deflectors, you lose the Tsunami tank to the 2 Vindicators. Yeah, he gets a little bit of splash on that MCV. So, yeah, Dimon activates the nano deflectors after that first bomb, and DutchArmy just waits for the nano deflectors to run out. This is so weird. This is turning into such an awkward map. We opened up 4 refineries, 1 mecha bay from Dimon, but he was forced to sell off 1 of the refineries, and he transferred the harvesters, but now his MCV is on the DutchArmy side of the map. There's only been 1 oil derrick captured. 1 Apollo goes down. Harvester taking a bunch of damage, splash damage on the refinery as well. Cryocopter swings around to the north side. Tier 2 on the mecha bay. And he's going to start breaking down the walls. Get the Imperial Warriors to start putting some pressure on that airfield, and they're going to move on to attack the power plant. How is DutchArmy going to handle this? He is already prepared for this contingency by having the airfield out on the water. He got the Tier 2 as well, so he can get those cryocopters. But this is turning into such a weird game. It's an MCV cell as well, so this mecha bay is supremely important. Every harvester that goes down just slows down Dimon a little bit. There's another kill on a harvester. Having the 2 oil derricks for Dimon is a wonderful advantage. And his Tsunami tank is going to start breaking down that wall. This airfield is pretty much done for. DutchArmy, this airfield is done for. The airfield is done for. He does not sell it off. He gets no value at all from that airfield. He was even returning to base with 1 of his units, which is going to go somewhere else now, I guess. Strikers through the middle of the map. There are a couple of Tengus patrolling as well. Cryocopter and Vindicator going to be moving back in. Tsunami tank is going to get the kill on another harvester as well. Dimon is cutting down the economy of DutchArmy as DutchArmy is cutting down the economy of Dimon. The oil derrick advantage is nice for Dimon, but he had to sell off his MCV to get it, so no point defense drones. Gets wavy one of these Apollos after he loses a striker. No, all of the Apollos escape. That was wonderful for DutchArmy, getting the kill on that striker. Gets shrink down as well. Not on the... Ooh, it would have been better if he could have gotten the shrink down on that Tsunami tank and killed it off. He loses the harvester anyways. He's probably going to have to sell off 1 of these refineries. I'm not sure if he is going to be able to save them. Tsunami tank does end up going down. Dimon pulls back. No MCV rebuild, it seems. I would be feeling much better for DutchArmy if he had managed to actually kill off 1 of these refineries and not just the harvesters. Double airfield is the follow-up for DutchArmy. His MCV is now on land. Oh, he saves the refinery! Strikers are probably going to show up in a couple of seconds and just blast that into oblivion, but he saves the refinery, at least for now. That is a clutch play. Just barely saving that refinery. 3 refineries, 2 oil derricks for Dimon. Apollo absorbs a bit of damage. Last Apollo will go down. Those Tengus do catch it. No Javelin soldiers on the deck. A spy might be able to turn this game around for DutchArmy. Tengu's on Overwatch. No point defense drones, but it may not matter. This is 4 Apollos, and they've got repairs. 2 Apollos get jumped on. The Tengu's getting shredded by the other 2 Apollos, but finally they are going to find their mark. 1 Apollo will be able to escape down to the south, but it's not going to be enough firepower. Dimon is going to get the kill on every single Apollo, and the Strikers will find the kill on the airfield. The power plants are exposed, and DutchArmy has crumbled. Dimon finds the engagement that he needs to get the 3-2 in this series to put himself on match point advantage. He's going to blast away that power plant, and the Vindicator's coming back from the corner of the map to clean up some of the Tengus on the ground, but they don't have what it takes to kill off those Strikers. The 3rd airfield has been found. The Tengus are here, and the Apollo can't build faster than those Chopper VXs can kill the airfield. Cryocopter goes down. DutchArmy is done and dusted. We're going to game number 6 to see if Dimon can finish out this series or if DutchArmy will start the ultimate comeback to kill Dimon. MCV goes down. No sell-off of the buildings. No leaving the game. I'm not sure what DutchArmy is doing in the game. He probably is typing to Dimon, just chatting about where the game went wrong. But DutchArmy has been defeated. The score goes to Dimon's favor. And DutchArmy needs to put a point on the board to take us to the ace match to keep his hopes alive here in the June Ladder Wars Finals. Which takes us to game number 6. And it shall be a magnificent one here on Fire Island. In the north, as the yellow, finally up in this series, this is Dimon. Why will it be a magnificent series, you might be wondering? Well, because on the south side, plain red, plain Soviets, this is DutchArmy. You wanted to see some Soviet play, but you are going to get it, just not the way you thought. You thought you were going to get Dimon as Soviets, and you're not. You're instead going to get DutchArmy as Soviets. Flak Trooper gets the kill on the dojo, and no one has secured an oil derrick just yet, but Dimon is looking to get the one on the north side. Refinery into War Factory for DutchArmy. He's getting double engineer. Bullfrog, I assume, after that. Refinery is going to be the follow-up. A couple of scouting bears split around the map for DutchArmy. I don't know if it's wise for him to separate this game into an EVS, break from his normal allied play, but he either is confident in his EVS on Fire Island, or he just wants to have a bit of fun. He's played extremely well over the course of this series. He's going to eject both of those engineers and then send his Bullfrog forward. Why? I don't know. What are you doing? What was the point of that? Takes a bit of damage. Goes Super Reactor and then cancels it. Bit unfortunate. Okay, he's going to go double reactor and I guess move his MCV. He doesn't think he needs the hammer tanks. Someone once, I think it was Chris maybe, or maybe it was in an interview, they asked Dimon the things that he hated playing against as a Soviet player. And he's like, if you want to know what I hate as a Soviet player, just watch me play Empire. Because that's what I do, is all of the stuff that I hate as a Soviet player. So, infantry swell in the beginning. Dojo and walling off the 3rd refinery. Defender VX to hold the low ground. And it looks like capturing these oil derricks and taking them back from your opponent. Sickle jump in for DutchArmy. He's going to be able to go for 1, 2, 3. Gets all 3 of the tank busters. That's value for these sickles. Not much more for these Imperial Warriors to do. DutchArmy for the current moment has both oil derricks, but he loses the one in the north. And Dimon has an engineer in the south as well. That conscript is not going to get the lucky kill down in the south for DutchArmy. Dimon is going to capture back both of the oil derricks, and I think that was fast enough that Dimon did not get his value from them. 4 sickles moving out for DutchArmy. Dimon controlling the game for the first phase. Super Reactor now going to be coming up. Oh. We won't call that Caster's Curse, but it does feel a little bit like it. All right, DutchArmy tags that Tengu a little bit. Not much more than that. Super Reactor should finish this time. Just cancels it right there as I say that. Conscript going for the Scout. Tier 2 has been added on by Dimon. And Dimon, in this case, no third refinery. Happy to play this one out. Third refinery-less. But with the 2 oil derricks, that kind of makes up for that. So he is going for the third refinery eventually. Going land, not going for the ocean refinery. DutchArmy starts his own third refinery, cancels it immediately. He's like, maybe I should get a couple more hammer tanks out first. And then I'll start that refinery. Defender Corps in the middle of the map has just helped Dimon take control of this area. Tengu's cycling back up to the north side. Not going for the complete shutdown on the scouts. Like, Dimon is not hunting down these scouts of DutchArmy. And DutchArmy is going to try and leech away some of these defender hit points, leech away some of the barracks hit points. Do what he can to weaken this position that Dimon has. Tengu's sneaking around to the south side. Going to be a striker as well, so DutchArmy is going to have to defend in multiple locations. His main army is going to be potentially under threat. Strikers are going to be coming in here, and the Tengus go for the transform on the outside so that they can kill the flak trooper at a distance and that they don't risk getting mined. Those flak troopers switch over to the magnetic mines, and they will end your Tengu. And then suddenly you won't be feeling quite so hot about your Tengu harass. MCV backs up. 3 refineries, 2 oil derricks, 2 none. Empire is going to be feeling super cozy and might even get a kill on a Harvester and a Bullfrog. Ooh, gets the Striker, so that's good for DutchArmy. He's going to be able to get the kill on the Tengu as well. Trades out half the health on 2 hammer tanks, though, but will not get the Tengu on the exit. The Harvester does survive, but it is going to be slow, and the Crusher Crane is going to be the response. More cash out the door for DutchArmy when he doesn't have the economy to support it. There is nothing wrong with the Crusher Crane. There is nothing wrong with some of these choices he is making, but they are that much more difficult to execute on when you are this far behind on economy. Dimon could honestly go tier 3 with very little chance of reprisal. Like, he could also go 4th refinery, but he could go tier 3 or 4th refinery. He could go naval yard, and there is almost nothing DutchArmy can do at all. I would love to see an airfield get established for DutchArmy, but does he have the cash? Genuinely, I don't think so. 2 Twin Blades would be 2,400 credits, plus the 1,000 for the airfield. It's just way more cash than DutchArmy has. Trying to get a couple of body blocks in there with those wall segments. Sickle jumps going for the tank busters. Tsunami tanks going to turn their guns as the MCV freezes them in place, gets the crush on 2 of them. This is one way that DutchArmy can actually take this game, take back this fight. 4 Tsunami tanks getting crushed. The hammers go down, but the MCV has been eliminated. The hammers go for the crush, and they're going to be able to finish off these Tsunami tanks. Maybe the tank busters not getting the damage off that they need, and that crush threat is just too much as these double gun hammer tanks are the only thing in the favor of DutchArmy. And now he has to try and play whack-a-mole with these tank buster. Loses another hammer tank, and this is just this is about as good as DutchArmy honestly could have asked for without, being a degenerate and asking for more than he should. But that was as good as DutchArmy could have asked for, and it still left him in a crippling situation. 4th refinery is getting established for Dimon. The comeback is always there. technically. If Dimon wasn't on match point, it would feel a lot more hopeful. DutchArmy is maybe just not quite as fresh with his Soviets as he is with his allies. Main base refinery number 1 going to be going down. Crusher crane almost dead as well. Reactor that was body blocking gets eliminated. DutchArmy crosses the map. Maybe if he had 20 twin blades. No hope, really, of taking this one back. Hammer tanks can't go out onto the water, which is where the MCV can't escape to. Dimon doesn't even have an insurance power plant, like way out in the corner or something. He doesn't need it. War Factory goes down. DutchArmy is done. GG, well played. 4-2 will be your final score, unless DutchArmy pulls something truly amazing out of nothing. Almost literally nothing, because he almost has nothing that shoots anything on the ground. And stuff on the ground is actually what Dimon has. DutchArmy has some stuff that shoots stuff in the sky, but not so much stuff on the ground. Bear in the base. DutchArmy is just running around again, probably typing in the chat, GG, well played. Not sure where I went wrong. Choosing Soviets might have been it. Well played. 4 or 5 phenomenal games, and then a goofball 6th game to end this series. Well played. June 2022, Ladder Wars all wrapped up. Dimon gets himself $40. DutchArmy gets himself a 2nd place, and a well-played best of 7. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. A phenomenal set of games for you to enjoy. And this is Cyber, signing out.